I'm Grace. Yeah, I feel like a college counselor right now. I think I'm definitely interested in biology field. Cell biology, biotech is something that I'm like pretty interested in. It started mainly during kind of COVID era because I was like watching a bunch of science videos online, and then I just like stumbled upon things like genetic engineering or like stem cell therapies and like all these new technologies that are being developed right now that can lead to like new treatment to Alzheimer's and all these incurable diseases. And I wasn't aware of this stuff at all, so like wait, this is like kind of interesting. Recently I've just been doing a lot of self-studying in these topics and then like going to these summer programs and learning more about these new therapies, and that just got me like more and more excited about like the research process. And also I think being in like Silicon Valley, it's like the tech world, you know, you see all of these like new entrepreneurs. I think it's just like really inspiring, and it, you know, makes me want to start something myself. For me, since I do enjoy it, and also my parents are pretty nice, like they don't pressure me into doing this. Since I have 3 brothers, tech was always kind of a big part of our like family conversations. They were always talking about like a new Apple product that came out, or it'd be like watching like a Marvel film and then talking about all these like new sci-fi stuff in those movies. It was definitely something that I'm just like always been comfortable with. But I think in Silicon Valley there is definitely a pressure to do tech, even for like people who may not be interested in it, but I feel like they have to be in a STEM major to make money and stuff, which I mean could be partially true, to be honest. But both of my brothers, they're not actually doing tech stuff. Like my oldest brother is doing business and my other one is pursuing film, so there's still like definitely opportunities there, and you can make a very comfortable living without being in tech. When I first started, I was definitely pretty lost. Like how to even start? I was like an average high schooler, you know. But there's actually so many like resources online for biology, even though you're probably not gonna have the opportunity to do like in-lab experiments and work with like animals or stuff like that. There's like a lot of computational modeling stuff too, which is like more bioinformatics, and that was kind of the scope of my first research project, which was more focused on conducting computer simulations and modeling proteins and stuff like that. If like you're not a big computer person, getting a start through these smaller projects that you can do at home is actually pretty helpful. If you want to get more like professional research experience and be able to work with official equipment, I mean you can apply to a lot of these summer programs. Or also, I didn't know about this for a while, but you can do something called cold emailing, which is basically where you like look up professors and labs nearby that are doing stuff that you think are would be interesting, and then you can send them an email and then highlight maybe your experience in the area, or even just like your interest in the field, because obviously as high schoolers you might not have that much experience. But if you just highlight how interested you are, and like if you have done the research, you have looked through papers that they've published and the work that their lab is currently doing, there is a chance that they might accept you, even if it's like for, I don't know, being like a not that important intern at first. You're still able to just like see how the lab process works and just get more experience that way, and then eventually you'll be able to get like maybe like a recommendation from the professor to be able to do more official research or take a more active role. I know I want to do research, but research summer program that I went to, I talked with these graduate students who were kind of the leading investigators for our like group, and what they said about research was it's definitely exciting, but at the same time it is very stressful, and they're like currently in the process of getting their PhD, so they have to like write like a full thesis and like a full paper and everything. And one student has been in it for like 5 years, so it's a very long and grueling process, and I'm sure they thought about quitting many times, and that just got me a little bit hesitant because like I am passionate about science and learning more about it, and I want to continue it in the future, but at the same time like I don't want to spend my entire life in school which is why I'm kind of leaning more into biotech, because that's more like entrepreneurship, you know. So it's not just like staying purely academia and then only researching in a lab or like working in a university or like becoming a professor there, but it's like being able to like start your own company and take a more direct role in what you want to do, and like starting something that's like your own and not just being a part of like someone else's lab. I think business skills are good in like basically anything, like you can apply it anywhere, and I definitely do want to apply business, given, you know, the rise of like ChatGPT and like all this AI stuff like very recently. That kind of got me more into thinking about like, okay, how can I implement AI more maybe in my life or like in the future. And I actually found out about this summer program called Inspire AI, which is like just like a week-long camping. It was pretty short, but during the program they like just teach you the basics of AI. They talked about like ethics of it, and also you were able to do like a research project in like an area that you were interested in. So obviously I chose something that was more biology related, but that still incorporated AI and coding, and it was basically creating like an AI model which can predict the geographical origins of like COVID genomes. It sounds more impressive than it actually, like it actually was not very hard, which is also like something that I think is really encouraging about AI, because like creating the models and stuff, like it's actually pretty accessible and you can do it at home. Like there's a lot of free AI coding classes or just like free software that you can use to make AI models that are actually like viable and can get you a start. So I think AI specifically in the health industry can definitely be very useful and has a lot of potential. Something I can think of is like using AI to detect like lung cancer detection. They take like kind of like an image of like your lung or like an organ stuff, and then they see like do these cells look like a tumor or do they not look like a tumor, and then AI is really good at recognizing patterns, right? So you can train AI to recognize patterns and figure out like, is this lung image cancerous or is it not? And I think that's definitely like an era where AI can be applied. I think people are still going to trust a real doctor more than an AI doctor. So even though it can assist, I don't really see it being a big threat at this point. Like I tend to see myself as a pretty ambitious person and like to set high expectations for myself, which is like why I think biotech is an area where I can push myself, because like starting your own company, that's like a huge deal. And also I feel like generally I'm a pretty like curious person, so like when I'm learning stuff in class, I don't usually just take it for like the teacher's word. Like I have to understand like why this is happening, or like what does this actually mean, you know? So I often find myself like googling things online just to like learn more about it and to actually understand the concept. And I think that's like why research is so appealing to me, because it's where I can actually investigate these questions and understand. First of all is being reasonable about your school course load. Even though you might want to take the most amount of AP classes possible, it's not always beneficial to you. Me, originally I was like, I'm gonna take AP Euro just because it's an AP class, but like it's so irrelevant to what I'm interested in. Like I watch videos of people who talk about like their experiences in research, or like what they did to get into whatever colleges that they got into, and that honestly like really motivates me to get working and see that like if other people can do it, then I can do it too. So and also developing good productivity habits, using a calendar and just keeping a list of my like daily tasks that I do, so then like I'm aware if you know I did get things done that day, or if I need to do more the next day, and just also being organized, just like knowing what tasks you need to do and stuff. And even if you do get rejected, like don't take it too personally. For me, when I do encounter a failure, I just think like, okay, this is like the end for me, I'm falling off, but just not letting that really get to you. Know what you did wrong, but don't dwell on it. Even if you mess up, you just found one more way to not succeed, which is definitely not a quote by me. There's definitely always going to be some prestige with going into like a top university, but it's not necessary at all. I think to be successful in the field, I've honestly done like a bit of research into like this area, and like I looked at people's responses who are like working in the industry, and most of them do say that like it's not about, you know, what school you go to, but it's more about just like getting that degree. The researchers or the companies that are hiring you, like they're going to value actual real life skills way more than just like the name of the school that you go to, and getting hands-on experience. That's more important. Even if you don't get into the top college like during high school, there's also way more opportunities to work with researchers in that university in the future. So if you like are just kind of going along your career path, and then you encounter this project that maybe like Harvard researchers are working on, like you can definitely collaborate with them. And like overall university research is very collaborative and builds on each other, so it's not like if you go to this not as well-known school, like you're going to be cut off from the rest of the world, you know.